Okay, I'm going to go through the exercise on page 2-39, creating the profile, and then I'm going to move right into creating a title block that we'll use to print out the assignment with dimensions. So we'll give it a second to get started here. There we go. So we're going to start with an ISO part, which is metric. So we'll just open this up. And I'm going to show you a couple little tips and tricks that make it a little quicker than what we initially did in class. So I'm going to, I don't really have the sheet to the side, so you can kind of open your book and kind of watch through this. I'm going to start with a rectangle by center. I'm going to go to this plane and Control H, remember, will rotate our, and it's going to start. You can see this little bar shows up with a little drumstick, tells you you're right at the center point. And we're going to pull this out. We know it's 240 feet wide, or 240 millimeters wide, sorry. The height is going to be 140, and it's going to be at 0 degrees. I'm going to zoom in on this. I'm just going to draw a couple little, again with a center box, just put a box here. I'm going to put another box here, just eyeball them. Then I'm going to take my line tool, and I'm going to create a line up here that goes straight up, switch it to a curve or a line arc. We just go up and over, come around until it reaches 180 degrees, and then pull it straight back down. Go right through the line if you like. Okay? Now there's a little tool up here in the draw menu which is called trim. And we can start to trim out some of these lines that we don't need. All you do is just left click and it takes out anything. So unlike some other CAD programs, this actually will work with lines that cross. It doesn't look at them as true vector lines. Now we're going to put in some relationships. We're going to say I always want this line and this line to be equal. I always want this line and this line to be equal. This line and this line are going to be equal, the two outside lines. The vertical lines on this gap, as well as the vertical lines on this gap. The two top lines will be equal. And we'll leave that there for now. So let's start putting in some numbers. We're going to put in, this is going to be a distance of 40. See how it drops those out. This is a distance of 30. The height of these becomes 30. And the height of this becomes 30. This one is actually 160 from 240, 80, so that's going to be 40. Notice both sides. This little side piece here ends up being 30. Hit escape so I can zoom out a little bit. Starting to take shape. And this bottom dimension all by itself should be 100. This dimension 140. Yeah, that's good. And then this should automatically show up as being 80, just by default. Okay? So let's roll this around to a isometric view. Excuse me. And we're going to go ahead and extrude this. They don't give us a dimension in the book, so I'm going to call it 120. We want a dimension, extrude in both directions symmetrically from the center line. So I'm just going to left click on this, hit enter, pull it out, we'll key in 120. No. You know I keyed it in, right? Come on. There we go. Try it again. Sorry. There we go. And I want 120. That's better. Now we've got a hole going through this, so I'm going to click my hole tool, and we're going to drop this down. It's a simple hole, and it's going to be a diameter of 80. We just kind of hover over the top. If we pull it down and just kind of move up towards this edge. Whoops, just had it and lost it. There it is. Oops, come on. Guess I need to lock that plane. There, that's centered. That hole goes all the way through. I'll escape. So that looks good. Now, rotate it back to an isometric. And what I want you to do is go to your attributes, and go down to properties, and we're going to go to file properties. And I want you to fill some stuff in here that are going to be relative to our title block. The title of this piece is going to be Exercise 2 SE for solid edge. The subject will be edge. The author will be your name. I'm going to put it in all caps so it matches everything else. The manager in this case is MET 121. The company will be University of Maine. You can actually make up your own company if you want. The category will be textbook. We don't have any keywords. Comments. Now under comments, we're going to add some information here. This would be comments regarding this particular piece. We're going to say dimensions are in millimeters. And for now, that's probably good. Statistics, nothing. Units are going to be in millimeters. The project is document number. We're going to give it document number 1, revision 0. Project name is going to be Exercise 2 from textbook. Status, preview, on save, create preview now, there it is, custom, finish, that's all fine, and hit OK. Now one other thing we're going to do is we're going to go to properties and go to material, and we're going to give this a material of, let's call it 1350 aluminum. We're going to say apply to model. And then we can close this out. We'll notice the model changes color somewhat. Alright, so now we have our piece made, and we're going to do a file, save as. We're going to put this in our MET 121 folder under parts, and we're just going to call it exercise 2 and hit save. Now we don't have to close this out, we can actually leave it up there in case we need it for something. We're going to go to File, New, and we're going to select our ANSI draft option, and we're going to say OK. Now this comes up on a D-size sheet of paper, so it's not really what we want. We're going to work in 8.5 by 11. So down here under Sheet, just right click and say Sheet Setup. And in this case, we want to go to an A-size sheet of paper. Actually, we want to go to no background. The size is here, and we want to go to an A-size sheet of paper. And it needs to say A wide, 11 inches by 8.5 inches. The name of this is going to be Title Block. We're going to say OK. And if we do a fit, what we see is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper here now. Okay. Now our title block, and I'll post the dimensions on this, but you can also just follow along with me. The title block is kind of standardized, and this is a title block that we're going to use all year long. So that's all, you know, if we do one, we're going to save it as our title block template, and then we'll be able to put our information in. Now if we go to our line tool, the outside border of this is actually going to be a little thicker. It's going to be a 0.7 millimeter. And we're just going to start down here at the bottom of the screen near the corner. Don't go right on the corner. The width of this is going to be 10.5. Left click. Vertically, we're going up 7.75. And we can come down and kiss that. If we come across, you see how that may not show up, but you should see it on your screen. The little dotted line tells me I've gone exactly the same distance, so I don't have to key anything in. And we'll come down and let it touch. When we see the little drumstick, just let her touch. Now I'm going to take my selection tool and I'm going to select this piece, and we'll just, this is our move tool. We just want to move it up. Just kind of center it on the paper a little bit better. Just like that. So that's the outline of our title block. Now I'm going to draw another line, and it's going to be at 0.5 or 0.5 millimeters. I want to offset this, so I'm just going to draw it. I don't know whether I can draw it right on top of this one. I know what I'll do. I'm going to start right here in this corner. We're going to go up, let's see, 1.25. And then bring it across. And you can bring it across until it touches. You'll notice when you get close to the edge, it gives you this little symbol that says you're right on that line. When you see that, you can just left click. If I take my selection tool, select that line, I just delete it because this line's a little bit thinner. Now we need these lines to be 1/4 inch apart. So I'm going to use this little tool up here called Offset. I'm just going to left click on this and hit enter and pull it down 0.25, and then you can just keep left clicking until you're done, and now we have these lines all at 1.25. I'm going to draw another line now over here on this corner up to this line, right on top of the first one, and we're going to do an offset. This offset, hit enter, is going to the left 0.375 to start with. And then the next one is going to be 1.25. And then 1. From there it goes to 0.375. And then it's going to go to 3 inches. Then we're going to go back 1.75. Okay, doesn't look much like a title block yet, and again you'll have the picture to go by. We're going to go back up to our trim tool, and we're going to trim out this, this, and this. This is where our logos are going to go. These 4 boxes stay, but these get cleaned out. There we go. And also, yes, these are fine. This is cleaned out, and this gets cleaned out. Sometimes it's easier to just draw things in block and then just take them out. Well, come on, there we go. And down here's where our materials are going. And down here, whoops, Control Z if you make a mistake, just, crap. I hit escape and took the tool off. And we're going to knock this one out. Knock this one out. Knock that one out. And knock that one out. So there's our title block. And we'll work on filling in the names for this in a minute. But first, no, we don't want the selection tool, just fix this up. I want to actually bring in our part so that we can use it. This is going to be a template for a draft, but bringing in a part will help us to label this piece accurately. So back to our Home tab. We're going to go to View Wizard. We're going to look for Exercise 2. Should be in your part directory. And we're going to say Open. And next, I want to select the front view. Say Next. And we're going to go with the top, the front, the right side, and the isometric. You can just click on these. With front is by default what we selected, so we just want these views, and hit Finish. Now what you'll see on your cursor then is a pictorial of what space that will take up. It's at 1 to 8. If we change it to 1 to 4, boy, I think I can still fit that in there. So I'm just going to left click kind of right here in the center. And we can see, yeah, we can still fit this in. We just need to make some adjustments. So if I select this piece and hold down my left mouse button, I can pull it up and over, give myself plenty of room. Select this piece and bring it up. In this one, I'll actually bring the scale back down on that to 1 to 8, and we'll just push this over into the corner. And also, we'll grab that and we'll change it to a shaded with edges. And when you see this gray block around here, it just means it needs to be updated. So you come over to this tool and say Update Views. Okay. So we haven't put any dimensions on this yet. What we're going to do is start putting some titles in here. So I'm going to zoom in on this title block area. And the first thing I want to do is put in the author. So I'm going to put in a text. Just left click down here, and I'm just going to type in drawn with a colon. Hit escape And I can grab this and you can just pull it up where it needs to go. So I don't know whether my name will fit in there or not, but we're going to do this as a callout. Now, a callout will pick out information from you can see I've put a bunch in here. But if I select, well, let's do it. I'm going to grab this and delete it. So what you want to do is it's %, bracket, author, and there's a little vertical line, which I believe, I'm going to delete it and see if I can recreate it. Mine is right by the backslash. If I do a function, nope, shift, I'm sorry. That should be R1. Back here too far. Delete that one. It should be shift, like that. Just above my backslash is a little vertical line. And I give it a title called author. And hit save. When I do a preview, you'll see it has my name on it. We just say OK, and I place that right here. It's a little short. So what I'll do is I'm going to take that line and we'll offset it just a little more, maybe 1/4 of an inch. Say 0.2 point, whoops. And then I can delete this one. So you can customize yours a little bit just to make sure. Now if I want to just select this and just move it down a little bit this way. So what that's doing is it's actually picking up that information from the model that I brought in. R1 just refers to reference 1. The next thing we'll put in is the date that the drawing was done. So if you look up here, you'll see origination date of R1. It says there's no reference there. Okay. We'll say OK, and I'm just going to put this in right here. Error, no reference. But if I do a file, save, you'll notice it automatically picks it up. So I just needed to do a save there to get it to pick up that origination date. We've got a part name over here that we're going to put into this block. So again, we'll go to our callout. We come up here. Our project name should be right here. Exercise 2 from textbook. And it's %, bracket, project, bar, reference 1. Hit OK, and then I can just place that right here. And once it's in place, I can just select it. I got to hit escape first, so otherwise it's going to place it again. And then we can just center it right here. Okay. Down here in this box, we've got the material. So I'm actually going to type in the word material so we know what we're looking at. Colon, and I can just grab it. Oops. You can also edit that when you see the gray box around it. And now we'll put in a callout for the material. We have our drop down. You don't have this, so you have to create these. Material is %, bracket, material bar R1. You can see it already shows me a preview of what it's going to be, aluminum 1350. And I just left click here, take my selection tool, and I can just move that up. We've got a piece of text here for a revision. And I want to make this text a little bit smaller. Say, just call it 0.08. it's going to be REV period. And we'll select it, move it up to the top. And then a call out will be, what's the revision? The revision, this is all information that we put in that, it's revision 0. Hit OK, and we'll place it right there. We had some notes that are going to put in here for comments. If we look at comments, dimensions are in millimeters. Hit OK. And again, we can just move that up here. If you had more notes, it would show up in the line. Another one that I don't have here will be file name. Let's see if I can get it to work, if I can remember. There it is, file name, ex2.par. And we're going to place that right there. Need some text that just describes what we're looking for here, which is, so I should make that back to 0.125. So this is just static text here that we're putting on. So we'll leave that the way it is for now. We've got some other things to put in, but I won't take up the time. Now over here I want to put in my MET 121. Now you can make up your own company name, but in my case it'll be University of Maine. So I'm going to go to my call out. And I'm going to tell it I want my, I think I'd put that in as company. Now I'll just put in company. Thought I had another one. There's University of Maine. Now I want to change this over a little bit because I want the text to be bigger. I want my text to be 0.25, and I can also change the color, say to black. We'll put it at Lucinda Sans Unicode, and font size be 0.25. Place it right there. Whoops, it didn't work. Oh. Try it again. There we go. I had the text scale at 0.25. So if I go here, I'll kind of move that to the middle. This is where I can go back to my home page, switch windows, go take a look at this, and look under my properties. And I had Manager MET 121. That's what I need. Switch windows again, back to my draft file, and I'm going to put another call out here that's going to be my manager, which I don't have up here. So we're going to make it manager. We'll change the name of this to, too much. Manager, MET 121. Our text and leader, this is also going to be in black. It's going to be 0.25. And it's going to be Lucinda Sans Unicode again. I'm just picking that because I kind of like that font. And then we'll just move that up. So you can do whatever you want. We'll put some logos on this, but just to get started, this is what we're going to do. So there's our title block with our information in it. And what I want to do is I'm just going to do a file, save as, and we're going to our draft, and we're going to call this template draft. We'll hit save. Okay, looks good, template draft. And what I'm going to do is delete this information. Yes. You notice what happens down here is I lost all the information from the model. I'm going to do a file, save, so it remembers that information. Now we'll do a file, save as, and we're going to call it ex2. Okay, and now we'll go back to our home and we're going to bring that document back in. So this way we'll be able to use that template whenever we want to. Go to our part, exercise 2. We're going to use our front view as our, get our material. We went to 1 to 4. And then we'll just, and notice when I added that in, it automatically brought in all of the call-out information. Move this up, move these up, move this over, give it a little shaded, and I think I'll leave it just the way it is for now. Remember, the gray line needs an update, so we just update it. Now we're ready to put some dimensions on this, and we'll start up here at the top. We don't dimension hidden lines, but if I take my smart dimension, and this is the same one that you used for creating the 2D, I can just grab this edge, pull it out, 4.724. Now that is in inches, so we got to make some changes here. I'm going to click this, and I'm going to tell it, no, I want my dimensions to be ISO. Okay, so now when I click this and pull it out, it tells me it's 120. So we'll select this dimension and get rid of it. Down here in the bottom, we can actually put our overall width. Now, if it's multiple edges we're going to, we select this tool, it's distance between, and I select this line, and we can put in the width. Down here, we can put in the height. Whoops, I have this here at 140. Now, bit of a problem here. I forgot to put my little fillets, or fillet would be inside or round in here. So let's switch our windows up here, and I'm going to go back and put those fillets in. I can tell you I did it on purpose, but I didn't actually. And those are, I believe, 10 millimeter. Yes, they are. Enter. We'll get a 10 millimeter there. We've got a 10 millimeter there. And we've got a 10 millimeter there. And we do a file, save. Now let's switch our windows back. And what happens, you see everything's got a gray line around it. And you say, ooh, something needs to be updated. So you just left click and clear all, and close. There's our new information. Notice that this one down to 130, it automatically updated the dimensions, but now we've got these rounded shoulders on here. So I'm going to just select this dimension, delete it, and we'll go back up here, and I want to say from this line to this line, it's 140. Then from this line, no, I know, come on. We'll go from the center point of this circle. Well, I think what happened is, there we go. Now you just pull it out, 170. If I just select this arc, I have to use my smart dimension. Gives me my radius of 80. We'll put that over here. And this arc is going to be a diameter of 80. This little tool up here says center mark, so I can create a center mark here, center mark there. That shows up. And we also have center lines. If I want to do a center line from this point through here, maybe actually select it. You can just pull it back. Oh, come on. There we go. So it actually puts the center line in there for you. So there's a bunch of different things you can do with dimensions. We've got the overall width down here at the bottom. We'll put our dimensions. I'll use a smart dimension to dimension this out. Bring it up here. Because that's symmetrical, I'm just going to dimension those. Then up here on this piece, we have a smart dimension for this little arc, R10. I need it to say times 2, so I'm going to put a prefix on it. It says times 4, sorry. Hit apply. Now it says times 4 R10, so it's going to pick up all 4 of these. And if I want to put a center mark here, here, they're a little bit. Let's try them at 1. That's better. So I'll select. Delete these two because they're too big. Back to my center mark. Guess you have to change these every time, so the font size would be 1. Just like that. Lastly, we'll put in our title block names at 0.125. I'm just going to do I can learn to type. There we go. And now we just, here's our top view, front view, right side view, asymmetric, and then the scale that we brought this in at was 1 to 4. So down here we can put our text. Do a fit view. We'll do a file, save. Remember, we still have our blank one, so this is actually our homework assignment now, and we're going to just do a file print. I'll do it in Adobe, but you're going to print it to whatever printer you have. I'll actually print this out on mine. I can do a preview, and there it looks what it looks like on a full-size sheet of paper. Looks good. And if I hit print, hear my printer kicking in. So that's what you want to do, and that's what you want to turn in, and we will work on this on Monday and Wednesday. All right, thanks.